One of the most trapped conversations you hear with consultants and business circles and books and coaches is fear. And it's interesting because if you read between the lines, we've made fear wrong. We've made fear as a sign of weakness. That if you're feeling fear, then you're doing something wrong and you need to fix that, because if you want to produce the results, you can't be afraid. And then on the other side, you've got people who go, well, being afraid of something caused me to take massive action and so forth. And when we talk about fear, it's not talking about putting it into a bucket of right or wrong, good or bad, or what you need to do with it. It's just simply being aware that you're experiencing fear right now as a feeling. And then rather than going, well, I'm just afraid of whatever, actually getting to the source of what you're actually afraid of. A lot of the time we've experienced that working with teams and founders, the fear that they have is either a repetition of the past or sort of a future that they're living into that might not even play out that way. It might live in their head. And it might also play out that way because it's so vivid and real that they actually create it to be that way. They've already decided, and so they take the actions consistent and necessary to actually make it that way. The relationship to fear is just so normal and so human that it's to sort of make it wrong or to make it sound like that you're a weak human being is kind of self-defeating. I think that the conversation to have around fear is that I'm experiencing it and to be okay with it, to hit pause for a second and actually look, what am I actually afraid of? What am I so terrified of that's going to happen? What's the future that I'm living into?
I know I'll regret this for the rest of my life. I'm absolutely gutted.
There's a story of the Australian cricket team, and there was a couple of guys on the team, predominantly one of which was the Australian captain and the vice captain. And the Australian captain, he's well on his way to being one of the greatest cricketers of all time, Steve Smith. And they were playing a match, and you can imagine being an elite athlete, just the pressure you're under to perform at all times. Not only from your coaches and from your sponsors and so forth, but from the public, and just even if you go on Facebook, you see all the comments and the opinions, they're human beings at the end of the day. They go home and whether they read the comments or not, they're human. We're all affected by feedback, whether, we always love good feedback and we get upset by bad feedback. And so as humans, they made a choice to cheat because they were so afraid of not winning. And the impact was huge. They got caught and they ended up getting suspended. And even though they may come back again, they now have to claw back or come back from this sort of, I suppose, social, judgment that they're cheaters. However, what's really fascinating about this is we're so quick to judge other people for cheating, and that we don't look to our own selves where we cheat, because we all do. We all cheat in some place, whether it's try to make this easier or take a shortcut or not tell the whole truth on something. And I think what's profound about that as an experience is when we can relate to them as humans and we can even empathize with the pressure they were under and the choices they made. It doesn't make what they did right. It doesn't mean there wasn't a consequence and there wasn't an impact. And even in a society, it doesn't mean that there isn't a consequence to endure. However, moving forward, now what? Because is it possible that we can cheat and not be cheaters? Is it possible that we can lie and not be liars? Is it possible that we can lose and not be losers? And not take it on board as an identity? And so for us to keep showing up in life and to keep getting back on the horse and to keep doing all the things the motivational posters say, well, at some point to be able to do that, we have to give room for our humanity and for each other and each other's humanity. And we have to create environments that allow people to be human and not always just these robots of win, lose, pass, fail. In the context of fear in a business, people lie, they cheat, they steal, they avoid things, they sweep things under the rug, they take advantage of people. Because inside of that fear is, if I don't meet this deadline, if we don't get this result, if we don't achieve whatever, then I'm not enough, we're not enough, I'm not worthy, etc., etc. And there's become such an addiction to these outcomes, that we then have to go clean up afterwards. And then we invent businesses to clean up all our messes. And as an opportunity is to sit there and go, well, what's driving all of this? And what if fear didn't have to drive these decisions? What if we could just be honest about the fear? What if as a manager, we could know that we are enough, that we're still worthy of being a manager, and we don't know how to do something, and we can actually seek help. So we could actually become a better manager. And I think there is a new era that's occurring where businesses are becoming more emotionally aware of this stuff. They are becoming more emotionally intelligent. They are starting to have conversations where it's okay to fail. It's okay not to know. It's okay to ask for help. And you can still be the manager tomorrow. And I think why that's so critically important is by actually creating the space for people to tell the truth, inherently long term, you get less failure.